Now on Talking Solutions, want to welcome back. Is this your third visit, Stephanie?
Third or fourth.
I love having you here. Stephanie Forbes with Nathan Adelson Hospice. What is your role?
I'm the development manager for the Nathan Adelson Hospice Foundation. The foundation is the fundraising arm of Nathan Adelson Hospice, where we raise funds to support the programs and services that we have at the hospice.
You're well known to people in our community for what, about 40 years?
Almost 40 years. 40 years in 2018. We're the largest nonprofit hospice here in Southern Nevada, so we are positioned to be the hospice of choice.
I want to talk about you being the largest hospice momentarily, and we're also going to make sure we give all the information. I brought my own invite with me today.
Yeah, our wine and food tasting.
We're going to have all the details on it and all the things that are part of that wonderful evening. When we were talking about the growth of Nathan Adelson Hospice, didn't I also see in the news that you have expanded?
I wasn't personally involved with all of it, but yes, we acquired Solari Hospice, and basically Solari was owned by Healthcare Partners, and hospice wasn't their core business, and they wanted to get back to their core business, and so it made perfect sense for us to acquire their hospice.
It does make good sense. Healthcare Partners is physicians for people's health care, diagnostics, and a lot of things that are directly involved with patients and their medical care. But hospice, that would definitely be an offshoot, a big expansion. So they said, let's see if we can't have Solari be part of a hospice organization.
Absolutely. We've had a wonderful relationship with Healthcare Partners through the years, so it made perfect sense.
So you're going to have more capacity and be even more active throughout the community.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
I have talked with people from Nathan Adelson in so many different ways over the past couple of years. There are just so many facets and wonderful things. We've had discussions about complementary therapies, pet therapy programs. We've talked about the fact that Nathan Adelson Hospice is so respected as an employer that you guys win awards every year because you're so good to work for and work with.
We just received our 2016 Best Places to Work Award.
Well, I think when you mention it to people who aren't familiar, they think, oh, what a depressing topic. It's not.
Right.
It's part of life. The people who work in hospice are angels.
Absolutely. We say that every day, whether it's Nathan Adelson Hospice or another hospice. The people who work at the bedside and are caring for patients, they're absolute angels. It takes a special person to be able to do that day in and day out.
It's a special demeanor.
Absolutely.
I'm obviously a big fan of Nathan Adelson. Not the specific hospice that dealt with my family situation back in Kansas a couple of years ago, but certainly taught me how special an experience it is to deal with hospice from whatever angle.
Absolutely.
End of life is part of life. It's part of the journey. And we have talked many times about how important it is. And a little reminder as we get closer to the holidays that are approaching at breakneck speed now.
Yes.
Thanksgiving, maybe at Christmas, Hanukkah, end of year, whenever your family gets together. It's a great time to have a very light, often comedic discussion about your wishes for end of life.
Absolutely. We talk about that all the time, having those roundtable dinner discussions. There's all sorts of different programs that are out there. Our CEO, Carol Fisher, did one of them. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like a death dinner or something like that. And it's meant to be lighthearted, where you talk about your end-of-life wishes and what you want. I know she did it and had her whole family, including her grandchildren there, and they all wore mustaches and hats and made it a fun, light conversation, not the seriousness that it needs to be when it's a week or a month before you find out you have a loved one who needs end-of-life care.
Exactly. It's the last thing that you would want to lay on your loved ones, the necessity to make these really serious decisions. Let's do it now. Let's have fun with it. Put it on the books, and let's get on with life.
Absolutely. And there's lots of materials out there to help families do that. We have a program that we're working on, and hopefully it'll be announced soon.
Stephanie, do you happen to know on nah.org, the website, if some suggestions for your family, things that you might do to prepare, might be available?
Yeah, I believe it is.
I will make sure that the links and everything that we need are on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, so it'll be easy just to click and go. And, of course, like always, a podcast of our discussion today. Stephanie Forbes is with us from Nathan Adelson Hospice. One of the things we definitely want to talk about, I told you I got my invite right here, the wine and food tasting. Wow, 17th annual. I think The first one I went to was back in 2005. It's been a number of years. I didn't know what to expect the first time. It was at Gauden at that time, but it was on Sahara, and I couldn't imagine what the setup would be. You walk in, and it's amazing.
It's a very cool event. This is our second year that we've now moved to Gauden Porsche over Rainbow and 215.
That's a gorgeous place.
It's phenomenal. It has so much space, indoor and outdoor. We're just so lucky to have the support of Gary Ackerman and Jim Meridian and Julie Kane from Gauden opening up their dealership. They pretty much conduct their business, but not in the way they normally would, because we take over their dealership for 2 days. The day before when we set up, straight through, it's really almost 3 days till Friday morning when we can come back and clean everything up.
And it wears all you guys out, I'm sure.
But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
It's a wonderful event. If you've never checked it out, you really need to consider it. If you enjoy a good wine and food tasting, and this is the best. Plus, the wine and food tasting for Nathan Adelson Hospice over at Gauden Porsche. It's right there at 215, the Southern Beltway and Rainbow. Easy to get to.
Yes, it's October 20th. I don't think I mentioned that.
We will push that because it's not that far in the future, and it's something to be planning for now.
Absolutely.
I don't know when you started with the VIP segment where you get to go early and get the special wines. And
we started that last year. So when we moved to the new dealership, they just have all these different rooms where you can do different things. And so we basically turned their service area into like a VIP lounge. Johnson Brothers of Nevada and Murray's Cheese. They provide wine and cheese, and it's more of like a true tasting where you can taste different wines and try different cheeses and things like that in that first hour. And then the actual event, when it starts at 5:30, there's so many restaurants, and then Johnson Brothers has other wines that you can try also. It's just a little bit more of an intimate setting for that 4:30 to 5:30 hour.
It's a jumpstart.
It is.
If you're a big fan of wine and cheese, you have the early access for the wine and food tasting. They have a lot of past appetizers. The silent auction, phenomenal. I remember from the first time that I attended years ago, they've got amazing things that you can bid on.
It's phenomenal. The community really comes out and supports us. The jewelers, he always creates something custom for us. And this year, Mordecai created a beautiful pair of earrings that are drop diamond earrings, and they're gorgeous. Infinity diamonds, I think, is what it is. Ben Giuelli is another jewelry store at the Venetian, and they donated some pearls. We have a Napa Sonoma trip this year that was donated by Maximum Hope Foundation, which is Brad Garrett, who's our spokesperson. His foundation donated that to us. We just have a wide array of things. And the nice thing is we know that people sometimes can't attend. They have children. They have other things going on. But you can still register to bid because we use mobile bidding now. And so you can still check out the items we have, and then you can send in your bids via text. And if you win, we'll get you your item. It's really a great opportunity.
Technology has changed our world in so many ways. And one of them is bidding on the silent auction items for the wine and food tasting for Nathan Adelson Hospice. I'm telling you, I started with this wine and food tasting long ago where it was all clipboards and we were signing our bids on them.
Yep.
Well, it's a lot cooler than that now
because
you can use your smartphone. And the other thing is, too, if you are unable to attend the actual wine and food tasting, you can still get in on these incredible items.
And it benefits two great programs of the organization.
Pediatric hospice, unfortunately, is something that is needed.
Absolutely. I never associated when I started 7 years ago hospice and pediatric hospice. I was shocked, actually, by it. I had experienced hospice with my own family, and they were all adults.
People who have lived a long, full life.
Right. Pediatric hospice is just a very specific form of hospice to treat children with life-threatening conditions, making sure that they have the specialized care that they need when they need it. We have a pediatrics team who sees our patients and takes care of them, and then we help the families and the parents and the grandparents and the brothers and the sisters as best as we can through our Families in Need program. And so they're both kind of tied together with what this event benefits. It's our pediatrics program, but then it also benefits our Families in Need program. And really, that program is about providing immediate resources when our families need it: food, clothing, paying for bills, helping them so that if a caregiver of a child needs to stop working so they can care for their child, helping them pay their rent for a month or getting them groceries so that they can focus on caring for their child or their loved one and not be worried about, oh my gosh, we're going to get evicted, or how am I going to go to get groceries, or my kids need clothes, things like that.
I'm sure that their worlds are already falling apart to start with, and then to have all these other things, the bricks just keep tumbling down on your head.
Right. And the Families in Need program also, it's not just our pediatrics program, it's our whole organization and the patients that we care for.
People in a really tough phase of their lives.
Absolutely.
And making sure that they don't fall through the cracks.
Absolutely.
About the best support you can offer to your community.
I agree.
So these are the programs that the wine and food tasting for Nathan Adelson Hospice, October 20th at God and Portia. These are the programs specifically that the funds will benefit. This is a really big event. You raise a chunk of change on this every year.
Yeah, we've raised in the past $63,000. Our chairwoman, Laura Coleman, she's been a Nathan Adelson Hospice volunteer for 27 years, I think it is. Her ultimate goal is to raise $75,000 to $100,000. And that's my goal, is to raise that kind of money. The more money we can raise for these two programs, the better. The more families we can help, more caregivers that don't have to worry down the line.
This happens to be a charitable effort where I think the whole community is touched by the individuals who will benefit from the funds raised for Nathan Adelson Hospice and the wine and cheese tasting. For the pediatric program, the Families in Need program, this is a way for the community to say, we are so sorry that you're going through this.
Absolutely.
The least we can do is wrap our arms around you and see what we can do to help.
Absolutely.
As far as the wine and food tasting, people could get tickets online, I would imagine?
Yes. Tickets for the reserve experience, which starts at $430, are $150, and the general admission tickets are $75. And they can be purchased through our website, nah.org, and then click on the events tab. It'll take you right to the wine tasting information, and then from there, there's a link to purchase your tickets online. They can also call me at my office. Our number is 702-733-0320, and they can purchase tickets through me. And $75, my gosh, and the amount of food and the vendors we have some amazing support this year. We have Crazy Pita, we have Joe Stone Crab, we have Ferraro's, Be With a Twist Catering, Murray's Cheese, P.F. Chang's, and those are just the restaurants. And then there's the whole dessert side of it. And that's just as wonderful. We have Popped and Nothing Bun Cake and Donut Mania, Amarino, which is gelato, and Beaumont Bakery, which is gluten-free. And, there's so many people out there who are gluten-free. Jinju Chocolates, and we have the wine from Johnson Brothers. I mean, it can't get any better for the amount of food and bidding on auction items and helping us just to raise all that money.
So on the afternoon of October 20th, after lunch, no snacking?
No
afternoon treats?
I would recommend not eating the entire day. Although I wouldn't know because I never get the chance to try the food.
Well,
I'm too busy running around.
You need to do that because it's really exceptional. I've been there. I've done it.
Yeah, I hear that every year.
Yeah.
And I just don't get there.
Could we change that for you this year?
I'm working on it. They try to feed me as I'm running around, but it's okay.
It's a wonderful experience and something to get involved with. The Nathan Adelson Hospice Wine and Food Tasting Extravaganza. It says on the invite.
It does.
Like I said, I got mine right here. 17th annual with mobile bidding and all of the silent auction items that are just phenomenal.
And then we also do, for people who don't want to bid on the auction, we also do something where you can purchase a cork. And basically, you buy a cork for $40, and there's a number on the bottom of the cork, and it corresponds with a prize. So it's kind of like a pick a prize, right? And then all of our prizes are at least a value of $50 or more, and I would say it's the more part than just $50.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gift cards to restaurants and spa services and more wine and all that kind of stuff. And then this year, we're also doing a wine ring toss. So basically, you buy a certain number of rings and you try to throw them on a wine bottle. And if it lands on a wine bottle, it's yours to keep.
Mine.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think there are people who would do really well with that.
This is going to have to expand into a whole weekend-long event one of these days.
I think so, too.
Trying to get it into one evening and adding more fun things all the time.
Absolutely.
Really, really a good time. And it is the Nathan Adelson Hospice Wine and Food Tasting coming up on October 20th.
Thursday.
Get your weekend started early.
Exactly.
Stephanie Forbes is with us from Nathan Adelson Hospice because I know this is the time of the year in October where you do the wine and food tasting.
Correct.
But I also know you have Serenades of Life, which happens every year.
That is Saturday, November 12th at the Smith Center, and we're super excited. We have Leanne Womack as our headliner this year.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she's going to be phenomenal. It's over Veterans Day weekend, so we're really excited. We're going to add a bit of a military, all-American theme to it, honoring our active and retired military. We're really hoping that the military, retired and active, they'll come out. We're offering the opportunity for them to buy tickets to 2-for-1, active and retired military through the Smith Center.
Just go to nah.org and go up to that events tab. That's a good fit to have Leanne Womack as your entertainer. Country is the most patriotic music you can find.
Absolutely, and she'll be phenomenal.
Coming up, the next event is the 17th annual Wine and Food Tasting Extravaganza. When you put extravaganza on it, I'm expecting a lot.
There's a lot.
Coming up Thursday, October 20th at God and Portia. They've got that VIP event beforehand for $150. Your tickets are $75 if you want to attend just the Wine and Food Tasting Extravaganza itself. If you can't make it, you can still participate in the wonderful silent auctions. And all the information can be found on the website, nah.org. Just go up and click on the events tab. All the information is there about the wine and food tasting on the 20th. Also, Serenades of Life, which is coming up over Veterans Day weekend in November at the Smith Center with Leanne Womack. It's going to be another great event. And if you want to volunteer, if you want to find out more, if you want to get involved with Nathan Adelson Hospice, nah.org. Stephanie Forbes, you know you're always welcome here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Talking Solutions.